everyone. Once again, we are here for our Facebook Live session, 1:30 Pacific Standard Time. And today we have I will say, probably one of the most important topics that we can talk about. And that is effective hiring. I'm going to cover some different aspects around this because I will tell you, if you're going to effectively hire, and this is for administrative support staff or for team associates, if you're having, if you're building a team and you're attracting other agents. So it really works, I would have to say, there's no exception. It works for all types of hiring. And the sad part is that be it that this is one of the most important aspects that you can do in our business, it's disappointing that there's very little time and attention taken to this most often. If you're somebody who takes it extremely seriously and you have a very regimented process, kudos to you. That's awesome. Awesome news. Okay, let me jump right in. All right, so as always, we have to start off with this. And I've entitled this first part, Get Your Head in the Game. So I've got some areas that I want to cover with this. First rule of thumb, all right, getting your head in the game is you got to start looking for people prior to needing them. The worst thing you can do is look for someone when you're buried. You're buried, you're busy, you absolutely need someone. In fact, you're running around the office. You're talking to managers, you're talking to friends, going, boy, do I need someone. Do you have anybody? I really need someone right now. Guess what? That does not set the stage for you to get as quality as an individual as you can. Yes, just like gambling, you can get lucky, but we don't want to put up luck as the opportunity here or a prayer. What we want to do is lay the proper groundwork. So you should always be interviewing. Yeah, but Mark, I don't need anyone right now. In fact, I don't even see myself hiring. Okay, doesn't matter. Always be looking. You never know. When you find quality people, an idea might pop up that you go, I never even planned to do this, but this person is so awesome and so quality. I think this could be really good for my business. All right. Always look prior to needing someone. All right. Next, getting your head in the game. Why are you hiring an assistant? Now, just so you know, full disclosure, I am a huge believer in hiring support. Okay, because I believe I need to do my highest and best use. And the only way I can do that and do a lot of it is to have somebody handling the other work, important work, but the other work that is other than my highest and best use. So big proponent of it. But we still have to ask that question, because here's what comes up when we ask ourselves this question about, why are we hiring an assistant? Well, one, what are you going to stop doing? Not generally, specifically writing it down, going, well, if I had, in this case, an administrative assistant, I would stop doing boom, 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 and you would write down everything you will no longer do. Next question, what will you start doing? So here are things that, you knew was a good idea for your business. You've heard about it, but God, who has time? There's no way I can do these other things. So now you're putting aspects in like lead generation, like lead follow-up, like giving more great presentations to generate more business. All right. You can do that now and talk to your sphere more often, whatever the case may be, is because you have that individual. So that what you should stop doing, and now things that you should start doing. I have one more for you. What are the things that you're going to beef up? Yeah, you already do them. Probably not as consistent as you should. And you know why? Mark, I just get busy. The rest of the day, the whirlwind takes me away and I do other things. Well, guess what? You have this person dialed in so you know what you're going to stop doing, what you're going to start doing, and ultimately what you're going to beef up, which should all be around your personal highest and best use. That is why you should be hiring someone. All right. Last part about this is Not a bad move to look at specific numbers that you say, you know what, if I had this person, I know, okay, I can commit to taking X more listings, making X more sales, attracting X more clientele, making X more calls, whatever the case may be, or have more X more powerful conversations, or X more face-to-face appointments. Whatever your commitments are, put those down because of that person, because that will dial you in, getting clarity around, that's why I'm spending the additional dollars on hiring an assistant. I know I'm a broken record on this, but be extremely clear and specific about your expectations for this person. I'm going to be direct. The more general you are, the less quality it will be. And so if you don't want to be frustrated, you got to be specific. If you dial it in, that's the best thing you can do. Leave it more general. It will only cause you more issues. So you got to be extremely clear and specific on what your expectations are for this person. You need to be able to measure it. Measure it and be able to discuss it with this hire. So if you're going to hire me, all right, and you want to see if I'm going to be successful in my job, you got to be able to measure it in some way, shape, or form. And we got to be able to discuss it because I want to know that I'm doing a good job. And not just generally, I want to have clarity around that. And the only way I'm going to get that is with your help because you're clear about it. Now, I want to warn you, I need you to be cautious about someone. And people make this mistake. We hear, don't hire someone like you. That's why realtors are, most of the time, we're terrible interviewers. And these tips will help you, and this information will help you so you can be better and be cognizant of some of these changes that you need to make. But you know what? We hear that don't hire someone like ourselves because guess what? That's our highest and best use. We need someone who's not like ourselves so they can do other work that's their highest and best use and along their strengths because that may not be my strength overall. But I have another caution. Sometimes we're so focused on the needs of the job, okay, the needs of the position, we lose sight that we've got to have the right person for the job. The job has its categories of what you need done, all right? And its list of, Mark, I'm clear. The reason I'm hiring, I need these 7 things done. Great. But be careful not to focus too much on those items and miss that, guess what? The person you're excited to hire to get these things done, that's not where their strengths lie. All right. Please do not argue with the truth or justify. Specifically, if you're looking for somebody and you need them, okay, and you want them right now, we tend to justify. We communicate, we ask them questions, they give us the answer, and we justify, okay? Or we say, okay, well, that'll be fine. That's not exactly what I was looking for, but that should work. I can deal with that. And sometimes you can, but I just want you to be careful. Don't argue with the truth and don't justify. And most importantly, please, 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 don't what if yourself. My God, I always say, well, you know what? What if I hire someone and, I go through all the training and then they leave in 6 months? Now I'm really frustrated. And then I got to hire somebody else and they stay for 6 months and then they leave. I mean, this is terrible. All I'm going to have is a revolving door. You know what? Don't what if yourself. The whole point of this exercise here, if you hire effectively, that should happen less and less of the time. Can it happen? It happens to all of us, and it's part of the process. I promise you this, having the right person supporting you overall will always be, okay, more important than the worry of they may not stay long enough, all right? Because it can happen. It's like a relationship, all right? Let me give you a great analogy. It's like you hear about love. Certainly you can meet someone, you can fall in love, and then they break up with you. Of course that can happen. But isn't it worthwhile going for it because love is that important? You know what? I just thought of that analogy, and I thought I'd share it with you because it's during the holidays, and there's a lot of love in the air. Okay? So there we go. So hopefully that was very helpful. It's a warm feeling I'm getting. That's a good thing. All right? So it's worthwhile to go out there and find love, and it's worthwhile to hire someone to help you do the things that truthfully you should not be doing. All right, let's move on to the interview. This is key, and there's a zillion mistakes done in the interview. Now, we have, some of you may not know this, okay, but we have exclusive to Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, our organization, okay, that operates in California, Nevada, and Arizona. We have a headhunter that works only for us as it comes to real estate. And you can hire this individual, which we have negotiated phenomenal rates for our sales executives. And you can hire this person to help you interview and help you find this person. Don't have to, but if you choose to. What I love about that is their job, okay, they're professional interviewers. They're really good as long as you're specific and you have given clarity of what you're looking for. The more specific, the better. They can truly help you. And maybe it comes down to the last 2 or 3 people that you finally get the best of the best. Because one of the frustrations is you're interviewing a ton of non-qualified, oh my God, I can't believe I even have to sit here and interview. This person's never going to work out. Or I'm having to make all these phone calls. Or you don't do it because it is that much work. And instead of going through that, let someone else help you with that. Again, I believe a great investment for you to do. All right. So separate from that, let's jump into some tips around, okay, and pitfalls around the interview process. All right. 1, keep in mind, please never ask yes or no questions. Never. It's like asking this. So let me ask you something. Are you honest? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Are you organized? Yes, I am. I'm very organized. Okay? All right. Are you going to embezzle from me? No, I'm not. I will not embezzle from you. Okay? No help. No help whatsoever. Do not. It will not help you. It may make you feel better because you are going to get the answer you want, but you're not going to get any valid information asking yes or no questions. What you want to do is ask them about past experiences that they've dealt with, dealing with challenges, situations, people issues, whatever it is, where they can explain how did they handle that issue. And you can listen. 1, it lets you know that they have a connection to those specific scenarios and they've experienced some different things in past jobs. All right. And let them explain to you what they've gone through. All right. For example, you ask someone and say, give me an example of a time that you had a challenge dealing with another coworker and how you dealt with it. All right. Let them think about it. If they go, well, I've never had challenges with coworkers. Okay, good. Good to know. Guess what? Concerned. Very concerned. We can always run into challenges. Doesn't mean it's a bad thing. We ran into challenges. May not be that person's issue. It just happened. All right. It was circumstances. Whatever the case may be, is I want to know they had those types of circumstances. I don't want to learn about that when they're working with me. How about this? Tell me a project that you were given to work on that you weren't able to complete on time. Tell me that experience and how you handled that experience. I want to know. Not everything goes perfect. All right. Tell me about a scenario where you headed up a project, all right, and you had other people reporting to you. How did you deal with that? All right. So this gives you really good information. You'll get body language. You'll get real experiences where they can share. And if they really jump in and go, okay, let me tell you what I did here, and this was really interesting, and they're just going and going and going, I promise you, you will get a wealth of information. Now, there's a tool that you can use that I've shared with you before, and I'm going to share with you today. And if I have some new viewers on today, well, guess what? You're going to get one of the most powerful communication tools that I believe exists. All right? And it has certainly helped you in the interview process. And that is the tool of think, feel, know. Okay. I'm not going to get into how the brain works, but think, feel, know is a way to get the most valuable and real information out of anyone you're speaking to. Many times I've talked about this in the context of dealing with clients because you really want to get the information from a client. Great example is, if you ask a buyer, what are they looking for? All right, this is the first time you've met them. Let me know what you're looking for. Later, you can get frustrated because, everything they told you, they bought the opposite. Let's say they bought with somebody else, okay? But they bought the complete opposite what they told you they were looking for. That's where the statement buyers are liars comes into play. I don't believe that. I believe this. You asked them a question, they answered it. But they're in think mode. Think is the most general information you can get. All right, so they're just giving you off the top of their head. They don't even know that they really want this. It's the first thing that came to their mind. So step one is you got to move them from think to feel. That's more valuable information. How do you do that? Well, there's two ways. They both work identically well. First way is you focus on the last thing they said. So as they're giving you their experience, you focus on one thing that's the last thing that they communicated to you. All right. And you say, interesting, you just said that. Tell me more about that. As soon as you ask them the question, tell me more about that, they go deeper within themselves and you're getting more valid information. The second way is if they said something that was really important or something that they really keyed in on during their explanation, you can latch onto that and say, wow, you mentioned what happened when you reported into your boss. Tell me more about that. All right. It works the same way. All you have to do is say, tell me more about that. All right. Easy. And guess what? You do this twice. So after you do it the first time and they go with it, you're listening, you're going again, and now either the last thing they said or something else that they really keyed in on that you pick out and felt, and you go, that's interesting too. Tell me more about that. That will take them in from feel into know. And now you are dealing with really, truly, okay, information that they have really thought about, they've digested, they're deep within themselves, and they're giving you as valid information as you can get on your first interview. Think, feel, know. And through this process, what's great about it is you're staying curious, okay? They're sharing with you openly. It's not yes or no's. It's not this list of filling out stuff. It is really understanding, wow, I'm seeing how this person lights up when they talk about how they were leading that team and the project they got done and what it meant to the company and all these things that you're like going, I can see the passion, okay, in their eyes and in their body language. And they sat up and they got excited. This is someone that I'm really looking for. Or someone just mumbles, talks a little bit, says, well, there was really no project. There was this, you know what? This is not somebody that is connecting with me in any way, shape, or form. So think, feel, know is a great tool you can use. Now, I told you earlier that you needed to make sure you got the expectations, that you were clear on the expectations that you wanted from that individual. Well, I want you to flip it too. You need to make sure that you're clear on what that person expects from you. So make sure that you ask that question. Say, you know what? It's really important that I understand what's important to you. What do you expect out of this position? A couple other questions that tie into that is, you know what? Why are you interested in this opportunity of working with me and my organization? Tell me about it. What interests you? What brought you here today? Okay, let them explain. Again, not a yes or no question. They really need to talk about why they're there and why they chose to jump in, okay, with their potential position. All right, what do you want to accomplish working here? All right, so you get the job. What do you really want to accomplish? What's important to you? All right, so gathering that information gives you great information for you specifically. That can affect how you bonus them. It certainly is letting you know where their mindset is, where their passion is, where their excitement can be, whatever it is. And it may be someone might say this to you. Well, I really want to sell real estate, I just wanted to see if I can get a position, kind of learn at first, and get paid through the process. And then I really want to jump into sales. Wow, that's interesting. Tell me more about that. Well, that's what my real goal is. Let me ask you, what time frame? Okay, and they tell you more and more and more, and you learn that, this person is okay in a position for 12 months, but then they want to jump in and get into sales. You might be totally cool with that. You might say, that is perfect. Why don't we work towards that? How about we work on something where I mentor you through this with the plan that 12 months from now, we transition you into sales and you can work within my group. Oh my God, that would be so exciting. So something just by asking questions might end up working, something you weren't even thinking about, but now you're totally okay with if that happens and it goes down that direction. Now there's some questions that I want to make sure, you ask. Some we've already gone over, but here's some additional ones that get missed on a consistent basis because you don't think about how important these next questions are. One, what does your culture provide? And when I say, let me step back. You need to be able to answer these questions. Okay, not ask these questions. You need to be able to answer these questions. What does your culture provide? I cannot tell you the importance of your culture. Well, what does it mean? Okay, what is your culture? If I work with you, what do you stand for? What is it about? Well, Mark, we're all about success. We're all about teamwork. We're all about having fun. Okay, we're all about learning. We're all about growing our client base. Okay, and we're excited to do so. Let me tell you some of the things we do every single week. And you start going over what it means, the culture that it means to work with you and your group. That can be really exciting, or as a poor interview, that can be really drab. You know what? I just need you to make sure that all my stuff gets done, okay? That's pretty much direct. All right, that's how it is. Anyway, so tell me a little bit more, and now you go, well, that doesn't sound really inspiring to work with the group. All right, maybe I'll get in there for a short period of time because I need a paycheck right now, and then later I'll transition out something more inspiring. They're people, all right? So if we look, remember the rule of thumb. If you are someone that has hired a lot of people and they've come in and left, and they've come in and left, you're not going to like this, but all you need to do is look in the mirror and say, I'm the issue. I know that's up. No, Mark, they were the issue. No, I'm going to push back. You are the issue. And as soon as you realize that you're the issue, you can look back and say, what could have made the situation different? Guys, I already know some situations wouldn't have been different. In fact, some of the people who left you were like, thank you for leaving. I should have fired you, but I didn't. So the reality of it is I understand that. But the kicker is if you're going to retain quality people, you got to come in with the mindset that I want to retain quality people. All right. Why should they work for you rather than for someone else? You got to be able to answer that question. I'd love if an interviewer asked you that. And let me tell you, going into that interview, that should be something not only that you should be able to answer, you should be excited to answer. You know what? I don't want to be full of myself, but here's the reasons why you're in a better situation when you're working for me. You know what? I inspire my people. I train my people. I mentor their growth. People who have worked for me make a minimum of $100,000 per year in the business. And I will tell you, they're one of the most professional realtors. I teach them everything I've known over my 25 years of experience, and I love sharing it. And they're phenomenal realtors today. Some of them have moved away. Some of them have even broken off the team and done their own business. I'm proud of them. They're awesome. Okay, whatever it is, all right, that they should work with you, that you know is the case, then you know what? You need to share that because that is a decision that they can make. And if they don't bring up that question, I always like, when I have the answer, I like bringing it up for them. Like you might be wondering why you should work with me rather than work for another team or for somebody else. I'm glad you asked. And then go into your answer because you know how important it is for them to understand that you're different, that you're not just any group, any team, okay, you're you and your culture matters to you. All right. What will they be able to achieve under your leadership? What will they be able to achieve under your leadership? Okay, couple big things in there. Look, we learn with clients that don't make it about you, make it about the client. It's not about you. It is about the client. It's about the seller and the buyer. Well, this is no difference. If you want to attract quality people and keep quality people, you got to make it about them. All right? You need to let them know, here's what you can achieve working with me. And I would, through your questioning, through staying curious, you should see what success means to them. Yeah, what are they trying to accomplish for themselves? And then tie in how you can help them achieve it, just like we would with a client. A client really wants to accomplish A, B, and C. Well, we get excited because our job is to help them accomplish A, B, and C. Same plan if you're hiring someone. You just got to first know, what are they really trying to accomplish? Maybe they have some school debt that they'd really like to retire and pay off. How much is it? I owe $75,000 in school debt. Okay. You mentioned that a few times. Well, it's just something I'd really love to get off my back. Why don't we build a focus around paying off that $75,000 and how we can do it? Well, that would be exciting for me. All right. Well, let's put a plan together. How long did you want? Well, over the next 2-3 years, I wanted it paid off. We can do that. Let's put a plan together around it. That plan will help you directly build your business, and you can structure a bonus plan that helps get that money paid off. And it ties right in to what they're trying to accomplish in their life. You made it about them, but it's going to help you grow your business as well. Some additional facts and tips that I want you to consider. And this one, I got to tell you, you hear it when you watch every financial news. It comes up all the time. But when I hear realtors talk about just hiring or their own business, I don't hear this. The number one item, that will provide staff or team associates, okay, the aspect of sticking with you is leadership. It's going to be about you and your leadership. It's not going to be about leads. I promise you, leads will be part of it. If you're busy, okay, leads will be there. In this example, we're talking about a team associate. Of course, leads will be there. All right, you're busy. You're out there. You're not hitting every client. You're focusing on yours. Maybe it's a different price range. Whatever the case may be, is leads will happen organically. But it will be your leadership. It will be your leadership. It will be your culture. It will be the environment that you create, that you put around me every single day, that will keep me there long term. Because guess what? You're right. I can't get there anywhere. I can't get that same environment, that same feeling, that same culture, unless I work with you. And that is important, and that is valuable. Okay? It's more important than leads. It's more important than split. Okay, it now gives me, I'm in an environment that I can achieve my personal goals that are important to me. Okay, I feel inspired. I feel excited. I'm having fun every day. Where the heck am I going? All right, I'm making good money, whatever the case may be. So just keep that in mind. It's leadership, environment, and culture. Okay, and without quality leadership, I will tell you this, culture and environment go away. So that's why it always starts with leadership. All right, some of the things that support that leadership is consistent two-way communication. You're asking their opinion. Doesn't mean you can't share. This is the way that I need things done. But I like to give up the process control many times. I go over the outcome that I'm looking for, and I'm looking for that quality person who in that particular aspect is better than I am doing it. Give them some flexibility on what they're trying to accomplish. Don't be so tight in. It's got to be done this way, like this, step by step. Give them your steps. And they may say, you know what, this is the best way to do it. Or they might say, you know what, I made it even better. Right? That's exciting. So that two-way consistent conversation. Maybe that's weekly, and in some cases it's quick, but it's daily. You guys are always communicating. All right, please assume nothing. One of my pet peeves is people who assume they know exactly what's going on here when they absolutely don't. They've made a ton of assumptions. They're coming from judgment, and all they did is miss all the signals because honestly, they weren't looking for any signals because I already had the answer because they know everything. Very big frustration for me. So, and people who work with me see it all the time. I always go back, how do you know that? Get me the facts. Nope, that's an assumption. Nope, that's an opinion. Okay, I need what actually is going on. So don't fall into that trap. Ask them. Let them know. And sometimes you got to go back to think, feel, know. How you doing? Oh, I'm fine. Tell me more about that because I'm not feeling you're fine. No, it'll be fine. What's up? Talk to me. Really, share with me. And then they end up sharing something with you that's so important to them that ultimately maybe you can help with and maybe you can't. But guess what you can do? Now you know about it and you can be sensitive to those issues. Listen, business and life are together. They're not separated. So in that, they have to work together. Know this, you not knowing about it doesn't mean it's not real, doesn't mean it's not happening. I'm from the personality, I'd rather know about it, and it may be something that I just have to be sensitive to and keep hands off. But the reality of it is I want to know about it and see if this person, okay, I can help in any way, I can support them in any way. And then ultimately, you know what? If it's something that continues for a long time, certainly you've got to deal with it. If it's affecting the job or it's affecting them, you may have to step in and help, like it or not, or they like it or not, you may have to. All right. And then ultimately, you got to see your job as a mentor and a developer. You're developing them, okay, over time. That keeps people, when you're helping them develop into more and be more knowledgeable, I promise you, that will increase the longevity of that individual being with you, specifically when it's a quality individual. All right? Quality people, which is the ones you want, expect, respect, and appreciate accountability. They don't mind being held accountable. Quality, high-producing people want you to hold them accountable. You know why? Because they're going to achieve. The main reason they want you to hold them accountable is because they're going to do a good job and they want you to know it. And they want you to see it. So hold me accountable. I have no problem with accountability because I get stuff done. People who don't like accountability are people who go, I have no intention of getting it done. I've got to tell you a story. I'm not going to mention any names. Okay, and this was a leadership lesson for me. I had an individual come into me and I asked this individual, I said, did this task get done? And the person said to me, yes, it did. Long story short, I found out shortly after, about maybe 10 days later, that specifically what I asked this person to do and they said was done wasn't done. And I called this person in. All right, didn't want to assume anything, okay, but ultimately I was just told it was not in any way done. But I said, you came in here about 10 days ago and you told me this specific thing was done. Was it done? No. Okay, so 1, you lied to me. 2, and I went off on a rant of how frustrated I was and how they didn't get this done. And I can't believe you. And you didn't tell me the truth. And he had said he was nervous to tell me the truth. Okay. And this and that and the other, but you didn't get it. And you know what he said to me? This was a huge, I got to tell you, this was huge for me. It was a huge lesson. He said, can I ask you something? I said, sure. He goes, why are you so upset? I don't get a lot of things done that you ask me to get done. And you've never gotten that upset. And I'm like thinking, oh my God, he's right. I'm the issue. He never gets anything done. Okay? And now I'm so upset on this one. He's proved to me over numerous times. That's when I learned termination can be a powerful thing. All right? And yes, at that time, which was way late, I ended up separating from that individual. But that individual taught me something is, Mark, why are you upset? I've disappointed you a zillion times and you've never been this upset. Oh my God, that's exactly right. All right? So bottom line is, okay, on that type of communication and that type of up and back, okay, it will not only make you better, right? But now you'll see how you can move that individual forward by mentoring them and certainly developing them through that time frame. I like this next one is I want you to be carefrontational. And what that means is that's a Vistage term, a CEO group that I'm in. We call it being carefrontational because you're direct, but you do it with love. All right? And remember, each individual owns their feelings. As long as I'm doing it with love and respect, if you get hurt or mad or angry, you own that. Okay, that's your own insecurities taking over and you're frustrated or whatever. As long as I'm sharing with you open and honestly, guess what? Control your feelings, own them. And if you're feeling frustrated, know that you got to look in the mirror and go, why is that bothering me? You know why? Because I feel it's real. See, the only time things actually bother us is when we're giving it validity in our life. I'm going to prove it to you. If someone walks up to you and says, hey, by the way, you're a giraffe, I promise you, you will not go home, okay, let's say to your spouse and go, can I ask you a question and you'll be honest with me? Sure. Do I look like a giraffe? You probably aren't going to ask that. You know why? Because you being a giraffe, you don't put validity, you don't put that has any validity in your life. Because you're not a giraffe and you know you're not a giraffe. In fact, it doesn't even make sense. But if I say something to you and say, you know what? You're just not efficient. You're just not getting the job done. You know what? I really feel in so many aspects you cut corners. Well, that could bother you. Why? All right. One, you don't want anyone to think that. The powerful thing for you to do in that aspect, and I know this is hard sometimes, is step back, don't take it personal, look at it and go, okay, am I cutting corners? See, quality people, I'm going to tell you that would immensely bother them. And it's not bad that it bothers them. It's bad, okay, how their actions go when it bothers them. If they step back and they become better because you opened, you were carefrontational, you were honest and direct, and you shared something with them that needed to change. You were frustrated, whatever the case may be, is you openly shared it and they took that information and they got better. That's how it's supposed to work. That's a beautiful thing. If they took that information and got upset about it and then whined about it and then you had to hear about it again and you could see a change in their attitude the next time you're asking them something. In fact, it goes on for a very long time. Guess what? That's step one, that you need to replace that person. Okay? The reality of it is you know what? If their attitude can take open, honest communication, and I have no problem with pushing back. If they say, you know what? Tell me more why you feel that way. Because I don't feel I cut corners, but clearly you do. So tell me more about this. Well, here's where. Here's this. Here's this. You know what? I didn't catch those, and I didn't know you felt that way, and I appreciate you sharing that with me. You know what? I'll watch that because I didn't. I'm just being really honest with you. I didn't watch that aspect of it. That's great information for both of you. All right? And listen, there's been numerous times that I have been frustrated about something, and I learned that who was really wrong and had the misinformation? I did. No problem. I love that. If I had an opportunity to grow and get better, it's a beautiful thing. That should happen every day of my life, okay? And truthfully, I have enough errors that will happen pretty much every day of my life. That's a beautiful thing. That's all about growth. That's all about moving to the next level. The problem comes in is when you take that information and you now take it and it becomes that insecurity and that frustration and no growth is coming from it. That's a problem. All right, so be carefrontational. As I said before, quality people love personal growth. Please pay well. Don't be cheap. And it's not always about money. Sometimes it's about flexibility. Sometimes it's about free time. And sometimes it's about bonuses. Sometimes it's not. Whatever the case may be is, and I don't think, don't be taken advantage of. But, you know, when I see people trying to, you know, cut and save $1 here and $2 there an hour or whatever the case may be is, I truthfully, my brain doesn't work that way. Here's what I believe. Find a quality person, okay? High quality person that, guess what, can grow with you and you can give them more and more to do. I'm going to tell you something. You will be the big winner in that relationship big time. And by the way, I believe, find ways that you can help. Sometimes it's just, like I said, it's free time, it's flexibility, it's whatever, okay, is important to them. Sometimes it can tie to family. Whatever that aspect is, you want to support them in that because it's important to them, and they go, you know what? That is what I'm all about, and that's important for me to do. Whatever that case may be is, and every individual is different. But you, as a leader, need to know what those things are so those hot buttons can help you support that individual, which is a win-win for everybody. All right. Last but not least along these lines is tie compensation bonuses to, one, the outcomes you want to achieve, and do your very best to tie them to the outcomes that they want to achieve. And I'll tell you, if bonuses are tied, all right, so you got the culture going, you got the environment going, all right, you're developing them, you're a mentor. I mean, this is all beautiful things, all right, and the bonuses are tied to what you're trying to achieve and what they're trying to achieve. Guys, don't get better than that. It is a win-win all the way down the road. All right. And what's really powerful as a great leader, you know what they're sensitive to. And that in itself, yes, you're acting on it, but just knowing it is something that I think gets missed in many relationships, specifically with either a team associate or, in this case, staff support in any way, shape, or form. I have a book that I would like to recommend to you. Which I think has another slew of amazing tips around the hiring process. And it's called The Who. Simple, The Who. And it's written by Jeff Smart and Randy Street. Jeff Smart and Randy Street. Great book, very direct. Also comes on audio, so you can listen to it if you're not having time to read or whatever the case may be. But it is a wealth of information on the hiring process. Let me conclude by saying this. Look, bringing quality people to support you grow your business, whatever that means to you, I think should always be part of the process. If we try and do everything as much as we think we're all that in a bag of chips and no one can do it as good as I can do it, I think you're missing a lot of opportunities. And those opportunities may not always be money, but it may be freedom. It may be time with family. It may be time with children, whatever the case. It may be just time with yourself. So you know what? You're not just going, and you're not truly living life. Having support is how great companies grow. No one does it on their own. All right? I really appreciate everyone's time today. If you liked what you heard today, please share it. Please follow. And we will be here again every Tuesday at 1:30 Pacific Standard Time. Thanks, everybody. Really appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed. Bye-bye.